Hello and welcome to Financial Aid 101. What is financial aid? Financial aid comes in different forms such as grants, scholarships, loans, and work study. Financial aid resources are intended to supplement but not replace the financial resources of the family. So let's talk a little bit then about the cost of attendance at Delta College. So here you can see the different categories like enrollment fees, books and supplies, and so on. And then you can see what the cost is if you're living with your parents or if you're living off campus on your own. Then at the bottom, you will see the total budgets down there. So for the cost of attendance at Delta College, living with your parents is going to be $15,769. And then off campus is going to be $24,427. And again, these are just estimates, so nothing written in stone, but just some estimates for you to see how much it costs to attend college. Please don't be alarmed. I know the total budgets are a lot, but there's also a lot of financial aid to help you. The cost of attendance at CSU Stanislaus, we can look at this one now. Again, you've got your tuition and fees, books and supplies, room and board, and so on. And they show the cost of living with your parents on campus or off campus. And again, you'll see the total budgets at the bottom. So with parents, $19,660, on campus, $23,578, and off campus, $28,160. Again, please don't be alarmed by these amounts. There's plenty of financial aid out there to help you. Now let's look at the UC. This is specific to UC Davis. So we've got your tuition and fees again, books and supplies, room and board, miscellaneous, transportation, optional health insurance, and then the total budgets at the bottom. Living on campus, $37,126. Off campus, $32,645. And with your parent, $29,605. So now let's take a look at the different types of financial aid at Delta College, for example. So for federal aid, there's a Pell Grant for up to $6,495. The FSCOG grant, which is up to $1,500. That's a educational opportunity grant. Then you've got work study up to $5,000 and direct loans up to $10,500. Direct loans is in red because that is the only money that you actually would have to pay back. Everything else you see here is free money. Again, the FAFSA opens up every year on October 1st, and the priority deadline is for March 2nd. And again, the FAFSA is going to be for our US citizens and our eligible non-citizens, such as our permanent residents. So looking at state aid now at San Joaquin Delta College, you've got your Cal Grant B or C, the Student Success Completion Grant up to $4,000, the Chafee Grant for our foster youth up to $6,000, and the California College Promise Grant, which is a fee waiver. I will be going over all the Cal Grants a little bit later on in the presentation. And again, we've got the FAFSA there, and then also the California Dream Act application. That is going to be for our undocumented and AB 540 students. So the California Dream Act students, you will complete a different application, not the FAFSA. So just know, students, you either complete the FAFSA or the California Dream Act, depending on your citizenship status. All right, so now let's look at the Student Success Completion Grant that I mentioned earlier. And again, this grant is for full-time students. So for students that are enrolled in 12 to 14.5 units per semester, receiving the Cal Grant B or C and maintaining satisfactory academic progress, you can get an extra $649 per semester. If you're enrolled in 15 units or more, then you can get an extra $2,000 per semester. Okay, so this grant does run out. It is first come, first serve. That's why we highly encourage you to fill out your FAFSA or your California Dream Act application by March 2nd each year. We also talked about fee waivers, and this is one of our fee waivers. This is the AB 19 grant, which you'll hear a lot about out in the community, where you hear that tuition is free for 2 years at Delta College. So yes, we do have that. It's called the AB 19 grant. However, there are some eligibility requirements for you to meet. You must be in your first 2 years of college. You must be enrolled in 12 units or more each semester that you want the grant. You must complete a FAFSA or a California Dream Act application, and you cannot be receiving any other fee waivers such as the California College Promise Grant, and you must be a California resident or an AB 540 student. This one is basically for students because this one is not based on income. This is for students who don't qualify for any other grants or any other fee waivers. So this is a really good grant as well. Let's look now at the benefits to taking 30 units at Delta College. So if you're looking at this chart, you can see if you take 15 units and you look down the row there, 12 units, 9 units, etc., and then look at the Pell Grant. So the Pell Grant right here depends on how many units you take will determine your award for the year. Remember, this is based on an academic year. Then you've got your Cal Grant B or C, and this is based on 6 units or more. So you can see here for the Cal Grant, the amount doesn't change no matter how many units you take, so long as you're taking 6 units. We already talked about the Student Success Completion Grant. And then these are the fee waivers that we have. So depending on how many units you take will determine how much we waive your fees for. So if you're a student who's enrolled in 15 units each semester, which would total then 30 units for the semester, 30 units for the academic year, then your total aid would be $12,833 or $12,279, depending on which Cal Grant you receive. And just a note to our Cal Grant recipients who have dependents, your Cal Grant amounts go up considerably. The Cal Grant B is $6,000 and the Cal Grant C is $4,000. So much different than this amount here. All right, so now let's look at federal aid then for the CSU. Again, the Pell Grant is going to be up to $6,495. Just so you guys know, the Pell Grant never changes. That amount does not change whether you go to a CSU, or a community college, but it does depend on the amount of units that you take. So this is based on a full load, which is going to be 12 units or more. And you've got your FSCOG grant, and that depends on the institution that you go to, as well as work study, depending on unmet need. Then the direct loans go up to $12,500. So now let's take a look at state aid for the CSU. Now you've got a Cal Grant A or B. You've got the Chafee Grant for our foster youth. Then there's an Educational Opportunity Program grant. And then there at the bottom, you see other CSU grants. So there's the Middle Class Scholarship, which is a 40% reduction in fees for families whose incomes are up to $184,000 for the year. Then there's a state university grant, and this is up to $5,742 for students whose expected family contribution is less than $5,500 and not receiving the Cal Grant. So a lot of aid available for students. Let's now look at the federal aid for the UC. So federal aid at the UC system, the Pell Grant again up to $6,495. The FSCOG grant depends on the institution, and work study depends on unmet need, and the direct loans stay at $12,500. And again, remember, none of this money you have to pay back, only the loans. So now let's look at state aid UC level, you've got your Cal Grant A or B, and you see the amounts are much higher because it's costs more to attend a UC. So they do up that Cal Grant A to $12,570. Then you've got your Chafee grant up to $6,000. The Educational Opportunity Program at $800. And then the middle class scholarship down there, as well as a blue and gold opportunity plan. And this is to ensure that you will not have to pay the UC's system-wide tuition and fees out of your own pocket if you're a California resident whose total family income is less than $80,000 a year and you qualify for financial aid. Now let's take a look at the Cal Grants that we talked about earlier. We've got your Cal Grant A, your Cal Grant B, and your Cal Grant C. So the Cal Grant A is for your four-year institutions, so CSUs and UCs. The Cal Grant B can be used at either a 4-year or a 2-year. And the Cal Grant C is going to be for your career and technical programs, which are going to be found at your community colleges. So let's talk about the Cal Grant B a little bit, because that one's a really neat Cal Grant because you can use it either at a 4-year or a 2-year. So if you start off at Delta College, then you can get Cal Grant B at Delta College. And then if you transfer to a CSU or a UC, you can continue to get your Cal Grant B there. However, your Cal Grants are only good for 4 years. So let's say you find yourself in a 3rd year at Delta College. You don't have to take your Cal Grant B if you know you're going to transfer to a university. Okay, so you can put it on hold so that you can save the other 2 years that you have left in your Cal Grant and use it at a university. Speaking of Cal Grants, you should make sure that you create your own web grant account. Every student should have one so that you can see how much you have left in your Cal Grants, how much you're going to be awarded in your Cal Grant. You can also check your Chafee grant here. So you should be creating a web grant account at mygrantinfo.csac.ca.gov. Now, for those of you that are completing the FAFSA, you're going to need to create an an FSA ID username and password. If you're a dependent student, then one of your parents also needs to create a username and a password, and you can go to the website here to go ahead and create that. This is going to allow you to log into your FAFSA and to electronically sign your FAFSA. And if you're going to apply for a loan, you can complete your paperwork there. And you can also log into different US Department of Education websites with this. This is only needed for the FAFSA. The California Dream Act application does not require an FSA ID. All right, so when you go to the FAFSA, this is what you're going to see. You're going to go to studentaid.gov. California Dream Act, you're going to go to dream.csac.gov. For eligibility for the California Dream Act, students have to have attended a California high school for 3 or more years, graduated from a California high school or the equivalent, which means like a GED. You have to be enrolled in an accredited California college or university, and you have to have taken 3 or more years of full-time high school coursework and a combination of elementary, middle, or high school in California for a combined total of 3 years or more. So basically they're saying that you have to have attended a California school for 3 or more years, whether it was through elementary, middle, or high school. In case of a student without lawful immigration status, file an affidavit with the institution stating that you have filed an application to legalize status or that you will file as soon as you are eligible. At Delta College, we have other opportunities such as our institutional scholarships. And so I highly encourage you to apply to as many scholarships as you can. We do post these every January 1st, and then they close on March the 2nd. You will need to complete an application, submit 2 letters of recommendation, and write a brief essay. Again, these are located on our website, which I will share with you in just a little bit. We also post outside scholarships. So there are outside scholarships or legitimate scholarships. So anything that you see posted here on our website are legitimate scholarships. And again, this is free money. This is not money that you have to pay back. So the financial aid process at Delta College is that once you turn in your FAFSA or your California Dream Act application, you will receive an email. It may ask, you'll receive an email from us. It may ask you to upload additional documents to your My Delta. So whatever documents you need to submit, please do so. It'll give you the link on how to upload them electronically. You'll also receive information about your award and disbursement information. In order to receive your money, you must set up a bank mobile account. So in the mail, you're going to receive a bright green envelope from Bank Mobile. Make sure that you pay attention to that mail. In there, it'll give you the instructions on how to create your account. Now, you do have the option to bank with them. They're strictly an online bank, or you can ask them to transfer your money to your already existing checking account. If you're logging into your My Delta for the very first time, you're going to enter your username, which is going to be your student ID number. And then your password is going to be your, password is going to be SJDC plus your 6-digit birthday. And pay attention to the lower and uppercase letters there. So if your birthday is June 4th, 1995, then your password is going to be SJDC 060495. And remember, the passwords are case sensitive. And then you can go ahead and click sign in. Now, when you go into your student portal, you might see, or your My Delta, you might see some tasks that you need to complete. So be attentive to those, because we may need, again, some documents from you, and we can't continue with your financial aid until you get those completed. So each task is going to have a status next to it. It could say initiated, and that means that it requires your attention and you need to take some action on your end. If it says received, that means you've already uploaded it to us and we are reviewing it. Upload your documents. Again, you'll see in your My Delta portal the link of where to go. It'll also be emailed to you. And this is where you're going to submit your documents to us. If you have not set up your Okta account, then you need to go to the website listed here below. Your Okta account is your single sign-on. So there you'll be able to access your My Delta, you'll be able to access your student email, etc. Now let's talk about satisfactory academic progress. You must maintain this in order to continue to be eligible for financial aid. So you must maintain a 2.0 cumulative GPA. You must complete 67% of the enrolled units. So what that means is, let's just say, for example, that you are taking 2 3-unit classes. You must pass both classes. So let's just say that you pass one and you withdraw from the other. That means that you're only completing 50% of the units that you attempted or that you enrolled in. And so you're not meeting SAP because we need you to be at 67%. Also, there's the maximum time frame or pace. You have up to 150% of units to complete your program. So as you can see, the example there, 60 units times 150% equals 90 units. What that means is, if your program, so an AA takes 60 units, we give you 90 units of financial aid to complete your 60-unit program. So we're very generous. But then after that, if you pass the 90 units, then you will not be meeting SAP. Okay, so you need to meet SAP in order to continue to be eligible for your financial aid. If you're not meeting SAP for 2 consecutive semesters, then you will be disqualified from financial aid. But there is an appeal process. What else do you need to know? So the Pell Grant, which is that federal grant, the one that is up to $6,495 per academic year, has a 6-year lifetime Pell eligibility limit, which means you can receive Pell for up to 6 years while you're in school. And after that, then you will not be able to receive Pell anymore. However, this is based on full-time status. So if you're attending school part-time some of the time, then your 6 years could extend out. The consortium form is a form that you need to complete if you're attending 2 colleges at the same time. You can only receive financial aid at one of the colleges, and so that form lets us know where you would like to receive your financial aid. We also have a book advance program, and the book advance program is for students who are going to receive financial aid but need to buy their books before school starts. And so you can apply for the book advance program, and then you will, if you meet all the qualifications, then you will be able to get a book voucher worth up to $750 so that you can buy your books before school starts. If you have any questions for us, we do have live chat Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. We also have virtual appointments where you can schedule an appointment to meet one-on-one with us to help you complete your FAFSA or your California Dream Act, or if you just have general questions about your financial aid. Also, you can contact us at Delta College at the phone number there, 209-954-5115. You can also reach us in person at the Delta Connect Center, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 8 to 5. And of course, we're always available virtually. Our email address is finaid@deltacollege.edu. Now, let me take you to our website. Our website address is kind of long, and so I'm going to show you how to get there quickly without having to remember that long address. So if you go to deltacollege.edu and you scroll over services, and then you come down here to student or to service departments, you'll find us right here at financial aid and scholarships. And here you will find a lot of information here. There's our live chat ready to help you. But you'll find information about all the different types of grants that I talked about, any updates regarding COVID. You will also need to verify your ID. So to verify your ID with us, it's going to be a driver's license, an ID card, or a passport. And it gives you all the instructions here on our website. Here's where you would go ahead and schedule those appointments if you need one-on-one assistance. So lots of information here. We also have our scholarship information right here for you. So the Delta scholarships that I was talking about, all the instructions are listed here and you can apply there. So thank you so much for attending today, and please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions.